D1 Mentality Podcast, a place where we talk about the thing that can make or break your dream, your mentality. My name is Future Pilot, and I'm on today not with the amazing. I'm not Future Pilot. I'm Steady Athlete, sorry, and I'm not with my amazing partner, Future Pilot, but I am with the one and only Max. How are you, Max?
Hello. Yeah, very good, mate. I hope you can hear me well. We had a few issues with the mic, so
I
I,
know.
I I hope it's all sorted.
hmm I met Max in a trip that Future Pilot organized, and and I and I found you a really interesting character, like with a lot of knowledge, a really nice background. So I think that's one of the reasons why we are so glad to have you at Day One Mentality. But please, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, mate. Yeah, honestly, that trip was amazing. Um, to give a bit of background about that trip, I clearly didn't expect it to be like that. We just flew from Northville to the Isle of Wight, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then ended up there doing like my first podcast. It was amazing. It was quite insightful actually. So obviously today I'm doing amazing because I'm doing that again with you. Um,
It
so
was
so yeah.
it was a really nice experience because Future Pilot really randomly he said, I mean, he texted me, "Hey, mom, are you free? Are you free Saturday to fly?" And and then I met you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Really nice vibes, and it was amazing,
But
amazing
mate,
trip.
that's really the beauty of it, right? Like no one expected that day to be like that, and I was obviously excited to to fly, and I'm really passionate about aviation, as you know. So I was so excited to fly, and to see D a little bit, and for me it wasn't gonna be like as amazing as it was. So yeah, I'm really glad that we had that experience together. It was crazy.
Yeah, and I got to know a little bit your background, which is you are you are a future pilot, actually,
Yeah,
aren't you?
yeah. I mean,
Right.
yeah. Hopefully, a future current pilot, one day. Yeah,
Something that I didn't know that you are able, or people are able, not me anymore, I'm too old, but people are able to start flying, uh, being like even being under 18 years old.
yeah. Actually, that's the beauty of it because they really want you to start as early as possible. Flying is all about safety. So if you can really get those the knowledge and those skills as early as possible, then you're able to build up on that.
Mhm.
So I started flying when I was 15. I did very quickly my first solo at the time, and yeah, it was amazing at the time. Then I'm 24 now, so I basically had a very long break of like 9 years, 8 9 years, because I wanted to pursue other things, and somehow went back to it.
I
But yeah, you
think
can actually fly very early.
I think this says a lot about you because I wouldn't have trust myself at the age of 15.
Well, here's the thing, like when you're 15, you don't really know what you're doing, I guess. That kind of helps. You only know that you love flying and you love that environment. You have no idea that what you're doing, and if you're missing like a few things, maybe it can actually have an impact on your safety. But it really helps me to again like build up on for the future. Um, and it was great. It was an amazing experience. Like I met great people as well. So I loved it.
Definitely. In what stage are you now in becoming a pilot?
Right now, so as I said, so I've stopped for a while, and I started flying again this year. So I've started flying at Northfield. I have about 10 hours with them, so in total I would have like about 20 hours.
Hmm.
The minimum requirement is 45 hours. I'm not really expecting to like be at 45 hours and then I'm a pilot. I think you need to like embrace the journey, and it's like step by step, and so I'm not the thing with being a pilot is that you never really know when you're actually technically going to have your license. It's a little bit stressful, but also kind of exciting at the same time. So yeah, I mean, I would say I'm at the stage of just being very passionate and keep pushing, keep trying. Got 9 exams to study for, so
Hmm.
still got a lot of work.
Yeah, it's it's not the easiest process, but if you're really passionate and you like what you're doing, it makes it more enjoyable, I
Yeah, I
assume.
think, mate, I think it's the same for everything, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I know that you're really into sports. I know that a lot of people are not. I guess it's easier to wake up in the morning and have and go for a run if you're really passionate about it.
yeah.
Um, and if you see that as a way to I don't know, maybe please other people, please your parents, for example, or just not doing that for yourself, well, then
Hmm.
I guess you can lack motivation there. So yeah, obviously you need to enjoy the process in every step of the way. Um, it's not because I'm really passionate about it that I'm enjoying every single. There's not a single pilot or um, in any other fields that requires a lot of work to put in. Um, there's not a single person that's going to tell you, yeah, I'm really passionate and I'm enjoying every single step of the way. That doesn't
Yeah,
exist. You need to
yeah,
embrace also the hard work, and that sometimes you're not really enjoying some
yeah.
moments. Being a pilot, you need to study for 9 subjects. You're not gonna love all 9 of them. I'm studying for LO at the moment,
Uh-huh.
so it's a lot of practical skills, um, and yeah, a lot of technical stuff that I'm not so passionate about, but I know that this will bring me to what I love. So this is my motivation, basically.
Which is good. Which is good that you know that, because at the end of the day, you do need to be realistic with yourself. Like, the whole journey is not gonna be, it's not gonna be, I don't know, a dream all the time.
Absolutely.
It's perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Having introduced yourself, my amazing guest today, Max. Let's continue with Dream Workshop. Dream Workshop is the opportunity to put forward a goal that you have in mind, and for 1 minute and a half, for 90 seconds, I will be able to challenge you, asking you a question, and see how developed is that goal, or how do you visualize that goal, for example.
Okay,
Yeah. Would you like
interesting.
would you like to start? Or
Yeah, of course. Is it
so
is it
which goal do you have in mind that you would like to put forward? What
Well, we
goal?
already talked about being a pilot, right? To be honest,
Becoming a pilot?
yeah, I'm really focused on that. I mean, it's difficult to have several dreams when you have that one. So yeah, I guess that'd be my goal.
Okay. So for 90 seconds, I'm going to be asking you questions. Okay.
Sure,
Let's see how that goes. Just challenge you a little bit.
please, yeah.
And so, how do you visualize yourself as a pilot? What kind of pilot would you be?
Oh, that's a good question. Um,
Would it be someone that is just gonna have it as a side job, flying a
yeah.
few times a month? Would you like to be a full-time pilot?
hmm So like that's also the reason why I'm doing. So at the moment I'm doing the PPL, which is basically like the leisure license, so it's not like the professional license. At the end of
Hmm.
that license, basically, I wouldn't be able to get paid to fly. Um, but it's like the comparison between getting your driving license and getting your taxi license, for example. So I'm getting the driving license at the moment. I
Yeah.
want to basically, I'm at a stage of my career, of my journey, where I'm just trying to figure out basically what kind of pilot I want to be. And so I think that the best for me, in order to figure that out, is to, um, well, simply go out there, do the PPL, and then we'll see. So that's my first step, basically. So at the moment, I would see myself as like leisure pilot, I would say, just doing that for fun with my friends. We've done some flying together, which I loved. Um, and then why not becoming, a pilot as a like professional in the future? Um, but I think for that specific, job, you need to be 100% sure, 100% committed. It's a lot of resources that you put on the table as well. Um, so a lot of commitment. So I want to be at least 80% sure, let's say. You can never be 100% sure. So a good 90% sure would be great.
Hmm. Yeah. Something that I feel is like you you give a little good energy in like your dream. You know what I mean? Very, very positive about it. So it's actually really nice to see that. You know?
I mean, I love it. So yeah, obviously I can only be positive about it, like it's my passion. So it's always a lot easier to talk about the things you love. So yeah, of course.
Nice, nice. Thank you very much. No more questions. No more questions. Well done. You passed the test.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you.
I mean,
So
it's
no
only
more
90
pressure.
seconds. So the goal that I'm gonna put forward is I am studying sports therapy, and
Mhm.
my dream will be owning my own rehab clinic.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a great one.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
I were to, can I jump in and ask you a question right there?
Go on, go full on.
Thank you. So okay, that's really interesting. So what
Let's
what
start
kind
now.
of I'm just being very curious here actually, just as a conversation, like what kind of steps do you have to take in order to just
Mhm.
achieve that goal?
So the first one and most logic will be becoming a sport therapist, which I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start my second year, and through my second year, I'm planning to do some shadowing in different clinics, um, and with sports therapists, professionals, and physiotherapists as well. Not
So you
just
want
to
to like
get,
gain some experience and
yeah,
with
I would like
with
to gain experience, but actually see how it is to work in a clinic. You know,
okay.
how the environment is. Ask questions of like, how did you start the clinic, or what? Do you run this by yourself? Is there anyone that helped you at the beginning? And actually ask those questions. But the main thing, obviously, will be um, becoming a sport therapist, which I still need 2 more years until I will be fully qualified.
And
And
what kind of sorry, tell me if I'm asking too many questions. I'm just very curious here, like what kind of like barriers do you have, like um, even barriers that you just put yourself, like do you have anything in mind?
so the way I visualize it will be like because the name sport therapist, I don't feel like it relates to the profession because it's not just for people that exercise. It's not just for
Hmm.
sport. Like if you have any muscle or skeletal injury, as a sport therapist, I could be able to support you or like give you some guidance. So it will be more like for everyone a little bit. like a gym area, a rehab area, some massage rooms. Um,
Okay, so
that's the way.
a lot of different stuff there. Like it's
Yeah,
quite broad
yeah.
then.
But everything related to like healthcare, you know.
Okay. Hmm.
And that's. I mean, it's not really developed. I mean, it's zero developed right now, but it's like my main goal in the future.
Well, it's not
Uh,
zero developed. I mean, I think you made the first step, right? Like
yeah,
wanting to do it is the first step. I think it's the
yeah.
most important, I guess, right? Um, it's like it's like my I remember like my uncle once said that I asked him because he does marathons, and I asked him what was the hardest thing about training for a marathon, and he said, "Well, the first and hardest thing is to actually register to a marathon," and that's
Mhm.
technically simple, right? But it's really just putting your head to it and
Yeah.
um, setting your mind to actually doing it is actually uh, a good and honorable step. So you're not 0%, right?
Which I completely agree. We're going to be
Yeah.
talking a little bit more detail about that, about
Hmm.
development stuff. Um, but yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. Like the first step is actually not actually taking the first step with your feedback in your head at the end. I believe, no,
Yeah.
because it's just actually thinking about the idea is actually the first step. Um,
Hmm.
anyway, let's go to the next one. I have a
Sure.
question for you, Max. Is there anything you knew you should have been doing the past week that you haven't been doing? And that brings up to the next uh, step, which is accountability time. Is there anything that you think that not that you know that you should have been doing that you haven't been doing?
Yeah. Too many things.
You're not the only one.
Way too many things. I'm 100% sure I'm not the only one. No, we live. I was just talking to my friend about that. Actually, we live in an area where we have in an area. I mean, we have so many distractions everywhere. That opens up to a lot of procrastination. So I guess that that triggered a lot of things that I knew I should have been doing, and I didn't do it. Um, to I think to understand, I'm still trying to understand. Like why am I not doing it? And maybe that might relate to some people. So I'll just put it out there. Um,
Mhm.
I think that sometimes maybe I could be a little like maybe feeling like overwhelmed, feeling a little bit scared to achieve some things, even though I really want to achieve that, and I'm like, um, yeah, maybe it's not worth the hustle. So it's easier, like you find easy ways to escape, sort of. Um,
Mhm.
So yeah, to give like concrete example, is just like going to the gym, for example. Obviously, it's easier to sit on your couch and um, it's I really love working out. Like I do genuinely love it, um, but it's tough to motivate yourself to actually go there. Um, it's like I'm quite an introvert in general,
Mhm.
but when I'm actually at a party, like I'd be quite extrovert, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Okay.
So it's like I don't want to go there, but once I'm there, I'm enjoying it. So one thing to that maybe I should push myself a little bit more there is to just be like, um, I love the Nike motto, like just do it. You just do it, and then you see what's gonna
Yeah.
bring you.
So correct me if I'm wrong. It's more like over overthinking the
Yeah,
idea, right?
it's all in there, 100%.
Yeah.
It's all in there
Hmm.
because and that's the worst part is that I know that I can enjoy it. Going for like a 1 hour run, or I love cycling as well, or to the gym. I know that I will enjoy it, whether it's afterwards or in the moment. By in the moment
Hmm.
when you're suffering, to be honest, not a lot of people enjoy it, but afterwards you feel great, right? Um,
Definitely.
I know that you're crazy about sports, so you might enjoy every step of the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So I mean, this will be, I mean, this will be next step. But what I enjoy, like me personally, I have to exercise uh, every day, pretty much.
Yeah,
But what I love is exercising um, early in the morning. When you get the routine of exercising very early in the morning, the rest of the day is amazing.
yeah,
You are in the best mood possible. Your brain is awakened since 8 a.m. Like you really sharp. Is the best thing. But obviously, I do understand that getting to that routine, it is difficult.
yeah.
Like it is difficult. Um,
Yeah, I
um,
mean, you need to train your brain to it. It's really tough, but I understand that once you have that routine, it can be set, like unless you have injuries or anything, it can be set for the rest of your life. Um,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
have actually been going to the gym early in the morning. Then you feel like you have so much energy during the day, but it's just the thought of like having to go there. Like it's just trying to um trying to fight against your little voice in your head that's telling you, no, mate, you just stay in your bed. You're very
Mhm.
comfy in your bed. Why would you want to go
Yeah.
in London where it rains a lot? Because I live in London, so like, why would you go out there? It's raining. Don't go for a run. Don't go cycling. It's dangerous. There are cars everywhere. Don't do that. That's what
Anything from
the
this.
voice
Come
you need
on.
to. Right? That's the kind
Yeah.
of voice you need to fight, and it's difficult and stuff. Yeah.
So so having said this, what are you gonna propose yourself to do the following week?
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, I'm actually working on something about that. I want to see a therapist. It's very interesting. Actually, I've been talking to my mate about that earlier. Actually, um, so I've been thinking about it, and I'm like. I don't believe that I have any illnesses or I mean in terms of like mental
Hmm.
illnesses.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to be quite healthy, but at the same time, just the same way you work out, I don't think it should really be necessary to be feeling sick to actually go see a therapist. Um, I want to give it a try, to be honest. See how it goes. I've never intentionally, at least, been to a therapy session. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's try that. So if
Yeah.
that's actually an option for me, if that would help me to achieve my goals and procrastinate a little bit less, just really resetting your focus, sort of on the things that matter most. That'd be my goal. Um,
Yeah. I
and it's
see.
interesting that we have that conversation because I've just been thinking about it.
I see therapy like a mental training. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the way the way you said it, you don't need to be depressed to go to
yeah,
therapy. You don't need to be mentally ill or the way you want to see it. It's just a mental training.
yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
gonna
The
help you,
same way you
support
train
you,
your
give you advice.
muscles, you can train
Yeah,
your mind.
exactly.
Um, but I mean, I say that, but I've never done it yet. So I'm really looking forward to see how that goes. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
slightly, shifting um, my mind to being like because I think my mind was trained to believe that you can only go see a therapist if you're ill or sick, um, and I'm slightly changing my mind there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm really hoping that could help me a lot there.
Amazing, amazing, great stuff. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, thank you.
Sure.
So, what is something that I knew I should have been doing last week that I haven't been doing?
Go ahead.
What a
Shoot it
question!
out.
What a good question.
Yep.
Um, I would say I need to be more organized. I haven't been as organized as I should, and I had a really long holidays, so I need to get into the routine again, having a better schedule. So that's gonna be mine, and that's gonna
Okay.
what I'm gonna do from tomorrow.
Okay.
Not from tomorrow,
How would you
from
from next
after
week?
this life.
Right away. Yeah, I love that mentality actually. You know, that just do it. Because if you wait, then you'll forget, or you won't be as motivated.
Yeah.
If at least if that session
Mhm.
kind of motivates you, if you can make some progress right after it, that's perfect.
Mhm.
But I was just, yeah, I was just thinking actually, what kind of, because I also had that issue, like being organized, doing like 1,000 things at a time. So I'm sure that could help me, but also some people that could be watching that. Um,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what kind of steps would you want to take? Have you thought about that?
So I have a notebook. I have a notebook
Oh, you're well
that is
prepared.
really useful. Yeah, it's really useful. I take it pretty much everywhere with me. But lately I have been avoiding it, which is stupid. Hello, hello. So, like I said, I hope you guys can hear me since Max is coming back. Hmm. Yes, Max.
Not sure what happened
Nothing.
there, but here we go. Yeah,
Can
sorry
you hear
about
me?
that. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like I said, I've been avoiding this really helpful tool. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I need to stick on this a little bit more.
What is
With
it?
everything.
Schedule, like agenda?
So I have some pages where I organize things, and then this little thing that really helps me organize my task of the week, and I can organize them from the most important thing, the number one, to the number 10, and
Okay.
that really helps me. That really helps me personally, um, and that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. Stick on this a little bit more. These little
Okay,
things,
that's great. Let's yeah, let's catch up on that actually and see how you do.
definitely. Now, having said that, thank you very much, Max, once again, for sharing all your thoughts, being vulnerable. We're going to be talking about the number one thing that's going to kill improvement, which is seeking perfection. Perfectionism,
Yeah.
it only gonna make you be lacking and avoid improvement. What do you think about that, Max?
Yeah, I think it's quite true. And in the same way we talked about you know, being overwhelmed and not wanting to accomplish what you wanted to do because of that overwhelming feeling. I think it's the same thing, you know, like sometimes you just think about every single step and you think that every single step has to be perfect. Um, and because of that, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna do it perfectly, then I'm not gonna do it at all. Um, and I've been thinking about that quite a lot actually. And sometimes I don't put my mind to not perfect is fine, you know. Um,
Yeah. Me,
and
me personally, I used to be thinking of like, "Ooh, I need to make the right step. Like what you said, I need to make the right step. But that only made me, so most of the times, not taking any step,
mhm,
which
absolutely,
made me lacking of like taking action. If I'm not taking action, then I won't be able to have the experience. And without it, the experience is really difficult to actually improve.
Yeah. And I think, this is quite related to confidence, I
Yeah.
think that you need to embrace the fact that not everything is 100% the way, uh, 100% correct. But you need to have a lot of confidence for that. This is, to be honest, is something I think I'm lacking. Also, I talked about, therapy.
Hmm.
Probably there's ways of improving my confidence there. Um, and it's yeah, I guess it's all about being able to be okay with your results not being 100% perfect. At
Hmm.
least you've done something. To go back to sports, sometimes I go to the gym and I don't have the best session. And lately, I've been thinking like it's okay, like it's fine. I haven't put like so much work, or at least as
Yeah.
much as I would have want to, but at least I'm not sat on my couch as I would have done. So yeah, it's not that bad actually. So and that builds me confidence.
And I feel like the the fear of making a mistake, because mistakes are actually, this is something that I realize now. Mistakes are just really helpful. They're just really, really helpful.
Yeah, 100%.
They're actually, yeah, it's just, if it's just the perfect way to actually learn and have a great experience, if you think about it.
Yeah, so
Um,
I wouldn't say like go do some mistakes to learn. I don't think that's the way either. But like you do mistakes by
mhm,
not being afraid to try. When you're not afraid to try, you sometimes fail, sometimes you luckily succeeds, which is a great thing. But mistake isn't a bad thing either. And
mhm.
and yeah, it's the best way to learn. To be honest, it doesn't mean that obviously you're intentionally gonna try to get into it, but I think it's great. Yeah.
100%, because um, the way the way I used to improve is like analyzing a situation that I have, for example,
Hmm.
and if the situation was perfect, I would say, well, was perfect. Like there is nothing I could have done better. But if there was a mistake that I did, for example, I would actually analyze those 5 seconds. For example, if I was a pilot and I struggled on the landing, for example,
Hmm.
I would analyze those 10 seconds and saying, "Oof, I should have bringing up the the plane a little bit more to make the landing a little bit softer." But if it was
So that
perfect, I would say,
comes
"Oh,
that comes afterwards, right? Because if
yeah,
you think too much during landing, it's not generally a good thing. But yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. No, it's very important. Mhm.
is there have you have you always like analyzed as much as now? Do you analyze less your mistakes, for example, Max?"
I think to be honest, like self-doubt is present in my life like all day long. Um, I'm always questioning like, have I done that right? Um, Maybe something that I'm not questioning enough would be like my relationship with people, probably. Um, I'm probably not questioning enough if um
Mhm.
like have I, sometimes you say things and you don't know if that would hurt people. Um, and I tend to not really question that so much, because I feel like I'm a very kind person. Sometimes things may be taken the wrong way.
Mhm.
So in that sense, just like relationship wise, maybe I could try to sort of like self reflect a little bit more. But other than that, I think I'm not doing a bad job at self reflecting. Um, I always try to keep track of what I do during the week, and always try to improve on the things that I could have improved on. And the question like that you asked earlier, I think is a question that I ask myself every week. What's something that I knew I should have been doing that I didn't do? Um,
Mhm.
I think
and
this
and
is
also
very important. Yeah.
yeah, and also like you said, being critical or having a constructive critical mind, that that is needed. You need that, but
Mhm,
that's that's one thing which is positive. On the other hand, if you're actually seeking for perfection, you, we tend to be over, overly critical, and by being overly critical, we focus too much on the negative, and being too negative, we might end up demotivated and
mhm,
preventing us to making the next step. And the way I see it is like, um, there is a voice inside of our head, right? And and just imagine as a kid, if someone was focusing too much on your points to improve, for example, or on your things to improve,
mm.
that's just so exhausting. No, they said, "Don't do this, do that, don't do that, do that, don't do that, do that, do that." That's so exhausting and so frustrating. So if we able to like be constructive, in our own head and say like, "Oh, that wasn't actually too bad. The landing could have been much worse. I could have died." You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's well, that makes sense. But yeah, I think you got a point there. Sometimes maybe we think too much. That's just it. We just think about the
Mhm.
worst. They're like different mentalities, Like some people just want to go out there and do it like quickly, as fast as possible. Don't really care about the results, and suddenly they win. They didn't expect that, and good for them. Or they lose, and they would be disappointed, but at least they've tried. This is the kind of
Yeah.
approach that I'm trying to reach.
Hmm.
I don't always have that approach, but I have it a little bit more and more. Uh, One example of that, I can give you a concrete example. I
Yes.
missed my flight yesterday because I forgot my passport. So I basically traveled from London to the south of France to come and visit my friend. And yeah, I basically completely forgot my passport. So I just arrived at the airport, and my passport wasn't there. So I thought I would, you know, just go back. Because what kind of possibilities do you have when your flight is in like I was quite early, so my flight was like in an hour and a half. Um, so I clearly didn't have time to go back home and come back. So
Hmm.
instead of like panicking, I was actually quite proud of myself at that moment. Instead of panicking and be like in a state of giving up, I was
Aha.
like, what are my options?
Hmm.
So I literally sat down and wrote in my head like all the kind of options that I had, no matter if it was realistic or not. Um, I thought it was not a bad approach actually. Um, Spoiler alert, I missed my flight, so it didn't work. But at least I tried, and I had like all my options. In the end, I find one. That option didn't work, and when I realized that it didn't work, again, I wasn't like, okay, I'm giving up. It didn't work. I was like, what kind of options do I have now? And and I love that, like just being able to. It's not a mentality of like never giving up. It's not just about that. It's just about just at least I've tried, and I won't regret it. I think there's not a better or a worse feeling than regretting something. I think it's important to try anything um, to the best of your ability, and
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you failed. You're like, well, at least I tried. I've done everything I could do. I failed. That's okay. That's completely fine. But if you don't, like, I've sometimes not even tried because I was afraid of failure, and at the end of it, I was disappointed.
Mhm.
But if you are, well, it's not like you're not afraid of failure because you can always be afraid of failure, but you're afraid of failure, but you still try. You can never be disappointed of yourself. You can only be disappointed about the situation. Um, so yeah, I would say focusing on that actually is not is quite important.
Yeah, I agree. And at the end of the day, is how you deal with the disappointments or the the difficulties in general, right?
Yeah, it
Because
depends your
you,
approach to it.
yeah, it's like how you talk to yourself, how you deal with the situation. Because at the end, like now, for example, we can laugh about it and say like, yesterday, Max, you missed your flight.
Mate, I
You
was
know
I
what I mean?
wasn't in the
It's
state I
absolutely
am
funny.
right now. Clearly, I was so frustrated. I was so disappointed.
I can
Uh,
imagine. It's not nice.
I was gonna, it's not a, it's a weird feeling actually because when you miss a bus, it's not like that bad. But when you miss a
Yeah.
plane, it's different. Well, obviously, it's probably because the next one is like the day after or a few days later.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, no, clearly, I mean, I wasn't in the, at least I found a solution. And,
Mhm.
seeing only the good things out of it,
Mhm.
um, is not as bad. And you know what? I wouldn't be able to talk to you about that and just laugh about it either.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's
so
not that bad. Um, so having talked about that, there is in some situations there is people that went close to perfection, whatever that is, and is one hit wonders. It could be an athlete, it could be an artist, and the question now is, why is it so difficult to succeed after being the underdog or being unknown and having a great hit?
why is
That's
it
my
so
question for you now.
difficult? What's the question? Sorry again.
So, why is it so difficult to keep succeeding after having a great hit?
Hmm. Oh, I get it. Like Lewis Hamilton, for example. So
Sorry.
you mean like Lewis
Mhm.
Hamilton, like being consistent, you mean, in
For example,
success?
yeah, of like there is someone unknown. There is an athlete, for example,
Hmm.
the 100 meters in the Olympics, and out of nowhere there is this Iranian 100 meters sprinter, and he wins the race
Yeah,
out of nowhere. Nobody knows him, but he won the 100 meters sprinting race at the Olympics.
yeah.
Why would it be so difficult for him to keep winning after that?
Yeah, what I
After having
think
been
is that,
perfect.
yeah, I can think of a few examples of that actually. What I think is that probably something, because, well, if we just give that example of sports, but it can be applied to anything in life.
Hmm.
Uh, Sometimes in some moments, your mind is telling you to go for it, and you have that sort of rush of adrenaline because you want it so much. Um, and this is really difficult because it's really short term. Um, so I've had a few moments like that in my life as well. I'm not an athlete, but I've seen athletes, being so amazing, and they weren't like the best ones, but that day they clearly put their mind to it, and I
Hmm.
can I can sort of think about one example of a French runner who won a gold medal. Uh, he was basically somewhere between the last, and then he won the gold medal at the end, and he basically is explained that the day before, he sort of had a vision that he was going to win that gold medal, even though clearly he wasn't, you know, at the time he was competing against the best ones in the world. Clearly a tough game. Um, and yeah, he just visualized at that moment. I
Mhm.
know that a lot of athletes, I don't know if you do that in sports, you do some like visualization work where you put your minds to actually sync some kind of results didn't happen
Mhm.
yet. But it's kind of like a dream, right? And you sort of put your mind to um yeah, you just visualize it for a moment and then you do it. It doesn't mean that it happens all the time, but like sometimes it can happen. And then to try to do that consistently, repeatedly, like I think that's really almost impossible. I mean, it's really hard. But
Yeah.
because it's all of that is because you've actually trained your mind to do it. Um, I think in sport especially, like a lot of athletes are at the exact same level physically. What is going to set one apart and just to win the gold medal, for example, um, is what they have been visualizing and the one that wants it the most. And that can be tough because they all want it, but
Yeah.
sometimes, out of nowhere, you just want it so much. You want it harder than everybody else, and so you get
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. My answer to the question, why is it so difficult to succeed after to keep succeeding again, um, is because a one hit wonder is trying to be perfect once again.
Hmm.
Is trying to reconstruct those that perfect song once again, or that being that athlete for 100 meters once again,
Yeah,
which is basically impossible because no situation is going to be exactly the same. Never again.
yeah, absolutely.
And although the all the pressure that you put yourself for, like, this is not good enough. I'm not gonna release this song because it's not as good as the one I used to be. It used to be before. There is this song, for example, Despacito. You know that song?
Yeah, of course.
Despacito, quiero decirle despacito. It was everywhere. It was
You
everywhere.
sing, you
But
sing very well. You
thank
should
you.
be a singer.
But this artist, I don't think he has released a song after a few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's like
all
Psy
the
as well, right?
yeah,
He did
like
Gangnam Style and then
all the all the pressure that people might put to the artist, to the athletes, is huge. But especially the one that you put yourself, which make it really difficult to actually keep improving from there, because you're actually seeking the that perfect situation, that perfect moment, which is not gonna happen.
yeah, I mean I've heard so many athletes actually a French swimmer or even well I love Formula One as you probably know, so Lewis Hamilton has been talking about that as well. I think it's very inspiring because we hear about people that actually achieved success and they're like, well, it's not that hard to achieve success. And you're like, okay, what's harder than achieving success? But it's actually like being, sustainable and keeping
Yeah,
that success.
yeah.
And I haven't thought about that until I heard those guys talking about it, and I found it so interesting. And I'm yet to figure out how you do it. How do you
Yeah.
achieve success and then stay consistent at a very high level of like
Good question.
competition?
I
Yeah,
think I got an answer for that. And how to keep succeeding and improving your success is by embracing the perfect imperfection situations.
interesting.
We all know this thing of like, you are perfectly imperfect. But life is perfectly imperfect at the same time as well. And the same
Yeah,
with the situations that we have. If we see the situations as a way to improve, instead of like, it needs to be perfect in order for me to make the step, it makes it much enjoyable. It makes it much easier of like, I'm gonna learn something from this instead of like, this has to be perfect for me in order to make the step.
yeah, absolutely. I think
And
it's the same mindset to
yeah,
achieve success, right? Like
yeah.
once they've achieved success,
Mhm.
they just try to rebrain it and do the same thing all over again. It's never going to be the same thing all over again because, as you said, it's very interesting. It's always different, a different process. But it's at least like trying to achieve that again. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm saying this like I have perfected this technique, but obviously not. I'm still developing my skills
Hmm.
and what I want, the way I want to do it, and it's something that I still need to implement and fit perfectly in my lifestyle, but embracing the imperfectly perfect situations. I feel like that's the key. And the last the last thing is like, I've been someone that has tried to. I used to. I'm much better now, I have to say, but I tried to like had these perfect environments and like, uh, and that made me stress so much, like so much.
Hmm.
And recently, I realized one thing that I thought was quite funny, which is when you see a picture of the world, for example, the whole world,
Yeah.
what is the feeling that you get, Max?
What is what? Sorry.
What is the feeling that you get by seeing a picture of the Earth? What is the feeling that you get?
Yeah, like you're really tiny. You're just a small. It's just
Mm-hmm.
a small part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
So
kind of feeling I have.
yeah, with me was exactly the same. Was like, I have no impact in this world. This is so frustrating.
Hmm.
But then I spoke with a friend, but that's actually a good thing because it means I could do whatever I want, and no one is gonna care. So I can I can have as many mistakes as I want to, and who's gonna care? No one.
Hmm.
Um, and that was a really nice realization because all my life I thought like, I have no impact in this world, you know. So seeing it from the
But
other
even
perspective.
if you felt like you had, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to just not care about other people's
Yeah.
opinion. To be honest, I think it's important to, listen to your closed ones' opinions. Um, the rest, for me, that's just my opinion. Um,
Hmm.
but the rest is just they don't know you enough to really understand your point of view because you may do or say things that relates to your education, your backgrounds, and so
Yeah.
why not just doing anything, even if you're like really famous, even if you're um, really doing huge impact on the society, on the world, why not just not
Yeah,
giving a
definitely.
damn and just do it? do whatever you
Mhm.
enjoy.
Mhm. Um, so that's all from my side, definitely. I really appreciate you having in this session.
Sure,
Day
mate.
one
Love it
mentality,
too.
session 22. Believe it or not, I really hope to have you again, Max. It will be awesome.
Hmm.
It will be awesome.
Anytime. Anytime.
And until next time, day one mentality today with an amazing guest, Max, here with us. A steady athlete. Until next time, enjoy the process. Anything to say, Max?
Thank you so much, mate. Really, just thank you. Um, it's been great talking to you about that. Just having a normal conversation here. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I've just done a therapy session here. So thanks for saving me a little bit of money as well. Uh,
I never said it was free. What do you mean?
oh gosh, no. Good one. No, but it's yeah, it feels great to just be able to talk to like-minded people like you. So I was really happy to connect with you the other day, and still really happy
Thank you, Ben.
to speak
I
to you.
mean, there is this thing. There is this thing. If you want to get fast, go alone. If you want to go far, day one mentality.
Oh yeah, I love
Until
that.
next time,
100% so
enjoy
true,
the
mate.
process.
See you.
Thank you, Max. Thank you for having me.
See you, mate.
Take care. Bye bye.